You're all welcome today. So remember from the last lesson we were looking at, yesterday's lesson, the financial cost and the opportunity cost. So what did we say the financial cost was? If the kids I have €10 and they decide to go to the cinema or the disco, I decide to go to the cinema, what's the financial cost? The €10 that you go to the cinema. So therefore, what's the opportunity cost? The opportunity cost is the foregone opportunity of not going to the disco, okay? So this relates to us, do you remember the two words that we said there was micro and macro? This relates to us on a micro level. So if you take, we say, on a macro level, the likes of, we say, the government, if they have a decision to make, if the case is the Department of Health or the Department of Education, and they have €1 billion to spend, they decide to spend it on health, what's the financial cost?
1 billion.
1 billion, exactly. That goes towards health. What's the opportunity cost? The 1 billion that didn't go towards education. So, today's lesson we're going to look at the factors of production. Anyone be able to name the factors of production?
Land, labour, capital, enterprise.
Very good. The page of the board, is it?
I can read.
Okay. So, the 4 factors of production are land, labour, capital and enterprise. So the first thing is the learning outcomes. At the end of this lesson, we should all be able to name the factors of production, okay? So at this stage, we can name them. What do we say the word?
Land, labour, capital, and enterprise.
Very good. The second thing we'll be able to do is provide examples of each factor. So we'll be able to provide examples of each factor of production. And we'll also be able to describe the payment or the reward for each factor. So we'll be able to do this using the key skills of communicating and working with others. So the first thing is resources. So resources are things such as land, machinery, materials, oil, crops, money, etc. And these are used or pooled together in the production of goods and services. Okay? So it takes a combination of all of these to pool together to produce a good or a service. And this is where we get the term, the factors of production. So the first factor of production is land. So unlike what we normally term as land being literally green fields out in the countryside, in economics, land is deemed to be anything supplied by nature. So this would include the likes of water, natural gas, oil, coal, minerals, trees, etc. Now that's not an exhaustive list. Anyone would be able to hazard a guess at another natural resource that we have? What do we hope is high in the sky when we go outside?
Sun.
Exactly, so the likes of the sun. And the payment or the reward for land is rent, okay? So, going back to our learning outcomes, what have we learned from that? Be able to name the factor of production, what is it?
Land.
Land. Can we provide an example? Yeah, and we know now that rent is the reward for it, okay? So the second thing is labour. So this is the human element of the production process. And this includes employees, builders, carpenters, factory workers, etc. And the reward or the reason why these people work in return for, what do they hope to get at the end of the week or the end of the month? Wages. And what is that? The payment for?
Worker.
For the work done, exactly, for labour. The third one then is capital. So this is all man-made things that help produce goods, okay? So this would include the likes of buildings, machinery, etc. And the reward for capital is interest, okay? So, Suzanne, what's the reward for land?
Rent.
Very good. Keith, what's the reward for labour?
Wages.
Very good. Be able to provide an example for labour. Niall.
Just for your workforce, so your employees.
Exactly. Very good. So the last one then is enterprise, okay? So this is basically where the previous 3, land, labour, capital, are pooled together in enterprise, okay? So the likes of an entrepreneur, the likes of Richard Branson, pools together the 3 previous factors in order to be able to produce a good or a service. So enterprise is basically taking the risk to sell new products or services and to make a profit. So they hope to make a profit by bringing together the 3 other factors of production. What did we say the factors were?
Land, labour, capital.
Exactly. So an example is Richard Branson. Can you think of another international International being globally, throughout the world. Another international entrepreneur.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Very good. Yeah, a national one. National one to us now will be within Ireland.
David McGowan and Emma Scrowan there at the
Very good, yeah, excellent. And you probably all know a local entrepreneur, the likes of the local businessman, the shop, etc. Okay? So the reward for enterprise is profit, okay? And this is what entrepreneurs hope to make, is a profit. But unfortunately not all entrepreneurs are successful, and they in turn will make a loss, okay? So at this stage, can we name the 4 factors of production?
Land, labour, capital, enterprise.
Very good. An example of land.
Trees and water.
Very good. Example of labour.
Employees.
Very good. Capital.
Machinery.
Very good. And the last one, enterprise.
The company. The business.
Very good. Okay. So at this stage, we're going to get someone to reverse roles, okay? So I'm going to get a volunteer. Fiona, you're going to teach the teacher. From this slide, tell us as much as you know about the factors of production.
Okay. So land is. What am I saying? Land-
Okay, you can use the slide as an aid, okay?
Okay.
So for example, taking the likes of bread, a common
Yeah.
product that we use every day. The land, where does the bread come from? The origins of it.
So the land, wherever you're growing the wheat.
Exactly, so you grow the wheat in the ground, as
Yeah.
in physically the land.
So
The
the
next one.
labour, the workers, so example, the farmer, the baker to produce the product.
Very good.
The capital is the machinery used to make the product, like the oven, the bread is made in the oven.
Excellent,
Then
yeah.
the enterprise is the company, so Cuisine de France, it sells the bread.
Exactly,
So it makes
yeah.
the profit or the loss.
So can we all see from a simple example like that, thanks very much Fiona, from a simple example like that, like a common product that we use every day, bread, how we can divide it into where the land, the labour, the capital and the enterprise pools together to make and manufacture the bread. Okay? So, at this stage, we're going to use a worksheet, okay? You can do these in pairs, okay? So using the central column as the key information, you'll be able to build the profile on it. So in number 1, you'll be putting in your factor of production followed by an example, and on this side, you input the reward, okay? Thanks, Anita. I give you 1 minute to complete that. So you name the factor of production, and you follow it with an example of the factor, okay? And on the right-hand side of the column, you input the, sorry.
An example, is it?
Yeah, so,
So we've land, so you can use wheat.
exactly. So you put in the name of the factor, okay? So the first one is, we'll say land, very good. Provide an example of land. It doesn't necessarily have to be the field itself. What else do we say? Exactly. And follow it in on the right-hand column with the payment for land, okay? And you can follow through for all 4 factors. You okay here, folks?
So that's like gas.
So you name it, very good, yeah. Provide an example of each, and then you follow it up with the payment or the reward for each. Very good. Over here, folks.
Labour.
So we can name it, provide an example of each, and payment for reward.
Employees is the example.
How we get on here, folks? Very good, yeah. Excellent work. Yeah, yeah, very good.
LAB
Right here, folks.
in like one of the final rounds, and he did it. I know, in America.
Okay, folks, you have another 30 seconds to complete those, okay?
I mean, that's a wage. Capital.
All happy?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so folks, we all happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to run through them, okay? So the first one is this group here.
We have land.
Land, okay. Can we provide an example of land? Very good. Group behind you. Provide an example, or the payment for land.
Rent.
Very good. Group at the back, the next one.
Labour,
Yeah, and an example.
employees,
Very good. The next group.
Wages is the payment.
Yeah.
Capital,
Okay.
example of your building,
Very good.
and payment is interest.
Excellent. And yourselves, the last factor.
Someone who has a business idea is an enterprise.
Yeah.
And weren't able to name the CEO of Shell.
Okay. And the payment for it?
Salary, wages.
Yeah, to create a profit. Very good. Okay, so do we all understand the concept of it?
Yeah.
Where the four factors of production pool together in order to be able to produce a good or a service. So guys, I know it's the weekend, okay? So if you flick over your sheet, and on the reverse of that sheet, you'll find the homework, okay? And the homework is basically an image, okay? As the saying goes, a picture paints 1,000 words. So from that image, it depicts the four factors of production: land, labour, capital and enterprise. And on the bottom of that worksheet activity, there's lines. You input what you feel that picture portrays or what you know from this lesson regarding the factors of production: land, labour, capital and enterprise, okay? And we'll go through that and peer assess it tomorrow. So I have a short YouTube clip here regarding the four factors of production, and we'll follow it with questions.
So, you want to create an economic good or service. You need to familiarize yourself with the four factors of production. Each component plays a role in the productive process. For example, Becky wants to sell flowers for economic profit. The first factor she needs is land. Land is defined as all naturally occurring resources, so that includes earth, sunlight, water, and other raw materials. The second element needed is labor. Labor is the human work put into the production process, for example, weeding and planting seeds. The third factor is capital, which encompasses all man-made items used to create a good or service. In Becky's case, this includes shovels, rakes, watering cans, and gardening shears she uses to grow and harvest her flowers. The fourth and final factor of production is entrepreneurship. An entrepreneur is someone who takes initiative and brings together the other factors of production, organizing, operating, and assuming the risk for a business venture. And there you have it, the four factors of production. Go forth, future entrepreneurs.
Okay, so folks. So regarding Becky, okay, what was she using as capital?
The shovel.
Exactly, her shovel, rake, watering can, etc. What was the example of land that she was using?
Soil. Dirt.
The soil, literally the soil. What was she planting?
Flowers.
The seeds, in order to be able to produce flowers in the hope to return.
Profit.
Very good, excellent. Okay, so at the end of the lesson, we should now be able to name the factors of production, okay? So we'll run through it. Yourselves on the back, first factor.
Land.
Very good. Yourselves?
Labour.
Yeah, Keith? Third factor?
Capital.
Excellent. And this group here?
Enterprise.
Enterprise, very good. Can we all provide an example of each factor?
Yeah.
Mark, an example of land, apart from land itself.
Sea.
Very good, yeah. Yourselves, another example of land?
Soil.
Soil. Excellent. Yourselves, an example of land? Water. So can you see now that that land is more than physically the land that we stand on? It comprises in economic terms of a lot more than that, all right? An example of labour.
People working on a farm.
Very good, yeah. So the likes of farmers, okay? They will be used in the production process. The third factor that we have is capital, okay? Can we provide an example of capital? So that is the man-made things that goes into the production process. Mark?
Machines.
Yeah, tractor, very good. Machines, yeah, buildings, etc. And the last one then is enterprise, okay? What do we hope that we'll make from enterprise?
Profit.
A profit, very good, okay? So, the example of enterprise, do we all know a local entrepreneur or international entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Very good. So we can name the factors of production, we can provide an example of each factor, and can we also provide the payment or the reward for each factor? So Mark, payment or reward for land?
Rent.
This group, labour,
Wage.
capital,
Interest.
and enterprise.
Profit.
Lovely. Thanks very much and enjoy your weekend.
Well done, Peter. Thanks. Yeah. No.